Ghetto Fairy Friday. We have a special guest for our Mystic of the Week. I have my sis coming on, Bree, aka Bree Money. So everybody show some love in the chat, like this video. Okay, if you guys are a guest of Brianna's or joining on, welcome, greetings. My name is Chinoa, your host. So I do want the chat to fill up a little bit, but if not, it's okay. Y'all can catch the replay. Just make sure you show some love. So, Brianna, thank you for joining. I just want to bring you on so people know who you are. You're multifaceted, and that's, space that I want to open up for everybody to come on and join, not single themselves or put themselves in a box. And I know that you have many different aspects to you. So,
hmm
introduce yourself to the audience. Who are
Hey
you?
y'all, my name is Bree or Bree Money. Essentially, I am a rapper, a model, a personality from the Bay Area. Um, I'm also a singer and a songwriter. I'm on all streaming platforms. Um, Me and Chinoa, we actually go way back. We're approaching like 10 years of friendship. And I feel like leading into the segue of like what you were saying in terms of like what makes me mystical. I think that's like a
Mhm.
multi-layered question. I think
Mhm.
one, I've already told you about like my lineage in terms of like spirituality does run in my family from my African side to my Native American side to my Eastern European side. And I feel like I was brought up being like a psychic medium. I've always had gifts. Um, my bio mom, she had gifts, my grandmother's, but I felt like I inherited like the most. Like I have a couple of the different clairs. That being said, I think that being raised kind of being a witch, I just always loved, as you can tell, even from my background and my decoration, I just always loved like fairies and whimsical things. Like I loved Halloween Town and practical magic and like the craft. But I loved it when they showed magic in a happy, like, beautiful sense. I hate when they demonize it, and especially when
Yeah.
they do it in a way that does teach, like, an actual lesson, like, because there is lessons within being a mystic, within being a psychic, within being a medium. There is rules to this stuff. You can't just do certain
Mhm.
things willy-nilly, or there is certainly, consequences to your actions. That being said, I felt like, I'm not gonna lie, as a child, I felt very alienated and very
Mhm.
alone because not a lot of people were open to that. And I feel like I really had to find my tribe, especially later on in life. And it wasn't until I was really, really depressed and in a dark place that I decided to randomly, when I had started college, to take like a restorative yoga class. And I felt like that class had taught me how to be more in tune with like my chakras. It opened me up to like being more spiritual again because I feel like I closed off that sense of myself from
Mhm.
feeling like I had such a traumatic childhood, and I was like, I don't understand why God or like, my spirit guides could put me through certain, trials and tribulations. Like I get certain things are for a lesson and for a reason, but I feel like you guys could have went a little easy on me, all right? You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
feel like we could have reeled it in a little bit. I still feel like the lesson would have been felt. However, I
Mhm.
digress. I say that to say that like it took until I met certain people, like we have our mutual friend, Serena, that ended up introducing us. But funny enough, I had already followed you and been a fan of your
Yes.
YouTube channel before we ever even got introduced. So I feel like that in and of itself was really serendipitous. And
Yeah.
so those that don't know, there is like a little bit of like a gap between me and Chanel in terms of like I've told you so many times that you feel like an older sister to me, and I feel that you have helped me like so much on my spiritual journey in terms of keeping it real with me in terms of like giving me so much clarity and understanding. I think also just helping me grow into a woman. And I've told you so many times that like I genuinely appreciate our sisterhood. Like I don't view you as just a friend, I view you as like family. And so I feel like part of going back to the question of like what makes me mystical, I feel like in learning certain lessons from you in terms of how open you are and honest you are and living in your truth. And I also just always digged your style. I think we're both women that have a very unique sense of style, but it's just
Mhm.
very like feminine. I feel like sexy, cool. And I don't know. I think we have a lot of things in common morally. We feel a lot of the same ways about things. Um, I just feel like we're 2 peas in a pod, and so I've told you so many times going back to that question, I do feel like you have influenced me a lot in terms of helping, develop certain gifts of mine and feeling more comfortable in terms of, like, practicing. And also, we've had many discussions about this of, like, where people feel like you can't be religious and spiritual. You can
Mhm.
absolutely be both, and you can even interpret certain things that are religious as, like, spiritual texts as well. So
Yeah.
I guess to sum up that question, I think it's like a little bit of all of that, and especially just being passed down like oral traditions and things like that, especially from my African and my Native American side. I think that
Mhm.
that is so important. Um, but yeah, I think that's the to sum up the answer of your like first question.
Yeah, so no, that was, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to answer, but um, definitely I feel like mysticism is always going to be based off of just the person's energy, like who they are, because magic, I feel like you said, I rather see or watch stories or movies that kind of interpret magic and spirituality in like this open, connected way, not like something demonic and evil all the time. You know what I mean? Like there's sides to it, yeah, that is dark. But yeah, I do agree with that. And yeah, me and Brianna, we go way back. It's kind of crazy, like how she said how we met. I didn't know she knew of me before. We met through a mutual friend
Mm.
at the time. So everything happens for a divine reason, and we definitely like built. It just didn't happen overnight. That's like she's helped me with different things spiritually, so I feel like that's what counts as what matters. Extension and pouring into people. Um, what I wanted to ask you, because I know your music, your creative self, like your modeling, your art. Does your intuitive or spiritual gifts ever come in line? I feel like I already know the answer to this, but I guess I want you to explain in a
Yes.
way that you're comfortable with sharing.
Yes, absolutely. I have always I think that in general, when you are a psychic medium, you channel, right? And so I think that
Mhm.
everybody channels in different ways. Some people write, some people, you know what I'm saying, like hum, some people have visions. It's different for everybody, right? So I say that to say, for me, I think that like I'm genuinely like a person where I channel, like I create when I feel inspired to, when spirit's like,
Mhm.
"Get your ass up." Excuse my language. I get my ass up and I make
Mhm.
like a beat. Sometimes I have like a dream and like I'll hear like a beat in my head. Sometimes I listen to music and I intuitively like there'll be a lyric or something, a part of the beat that will resonate with me and I'll get inspired and I'll
Mhm.
make something original from that. Also, just in terms of my lyrics, I feel like I've evolved so much as an artist now over the 6 years that I've been doing music. I think that
Mhm.
with my first EP that I dropped, I poured a lot of my heart, and I also think that I put a lot of channeled messages in there where even now 6 years later, or excuse me, like 4 years later, when I hear that project and I really listen to what I say, sometimes I hear
Mhm.
even double meanings, and I'm like, "Damn, I was really spitting." Like, sometimes, like, my lyrics don't even hit me until like a certain point later on in my life. And I
Mhm.
that's the whole point of for me making like art and being artistic and doing anything, even with modeling, is I want to make people feel something, whether that's feeling inspired, whether that's just reminding you of like gentle messages, whatever that is, whether that's just me being funny and bringing people like joy and stuff like that. Like, um, my whole gift is I want to make people feel better, to feel
Mhm.
good, to feel empowered if possible. Um, and also like I also speak to my own faults and things like that within my own music. I've always kept it real. Like I've talked about certain things that I've done that was like, but you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You live and you learn. And I definitely can hear like certain bodies of work of where I was at that point in my life. And I can hear how much I've grown, but I can also see how that could influence people at that age now if they listen to it. Um, but I think like art comes to me in a variety of different ways. Most of the
Mhm.
time though, for me, it is spiritual. It's usually me feeling guided to do something and then I just do it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like what you said, when you create a song and then you go back and it's like it hits where you are now, that's prophetic even in itself. You know what I mean? Like it's like foretelling something, or you know what I mean? And it may resonate with people too. Like you're speaking from your perspective from where you are now, but whatever you're speaking of may resonate with somebody in the future and where they are. So that within itself, yes, that's spiritual, that's prophetic. Um, so when it comes to, I'm just like stay on the topic of music because I feel like um, your music, it is progressing in different layers, not just like because you've been doing it for so long, but like where you're at as a person on the inside beyond just life experiences. It's like as your gifts elevate, I feel like your music shifts. Um,
Mhm.
so if you could like pick a song of yours, what would be like the perfect, I guess, frequency that you could say, or chakra that would resonate with that particular song, or chakras could be more than one. Or if it was like a spell or affirmation, like what would it be used for? If that makes sense.
I think my intro song off of the Vibe tape, I that was a poem that I've channeled that I really wrote to myself at that point in time of my life where I feel like I was at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I hear that song now and it still gives me chills because as a person where I have evolved into such a happy place now, when I hear some of those lyrics, it's just like a gentle reminder for me that I have come such like a long way. Um, Even if it has been 4 years, like there's like obviously, life can change in like an instant, right? Um, I would definitely say that one. I would also probably, say let's see. That's a really good question. I think Charlie's Angels too, like my new song, it was more of like me being a master manifester. And I think that like I had woken up one day. It was when we were having conversations,
Mm-hmm.
not to put too much of our business out there, but we were having a conversation a couple months ago when we had talked about like body image and we were talking about how when you get older that you stop caring about certain things. And I feel like you've known that I have struggled with body dysmorphia for a very, very long time. And with that being said, Charlie's Angels was just like you had given me advice where you were telling me that I was gonna wake up one day and that I was just gonna start feeling myself. Like I was gonna stop caring. Not to say that we don't all have our days. Like we're
Yeah.
human. Like some days you look in the mirror and you're like, ooh. And other days you look in the mirror and you're like, oh,
Oh.
oh, choices were made.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like Charlie's Angel was really like a day where it hit me. It was like a prophetic thing where like you had kind of called it into existence, but like I
Mhm.
just woke up and I made that beat and I was like, "Ooh, this feels like a dope ass like runway type song."
Hmm.
Also, I could see this in a movie, but it just made me think of myself as like a bad bitch walking down the runway. And that being said, I don't know, I made that song and I was feeling myself. And even when I hear that song to this day, every time it comes on, it immediately makes me feel like, yeah. And you know what? I was inspired too by Megan Thee Stallion because I think listening to Megan's lyrics as a fellow
Hmm.
Aquarius, um, she just, I don't know, her songs just put me in a mood of like,
They do.
I'm like, girl, and yeah, and you could be that girl too. We could all be that girl. That's what, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Um, so that being said, yeah, I think those 2 songs were prophetic for different reasons. One is sad, but it's more of like a reflection of where I was at that point in time and me being triumphant and overcoming like a lot of obstacles in my life and now being on the other side. And another
Hmm.
one is just like a coming of age moment that I think is like such a revelation for me
Right.
because I never thought I would see the day that I would be like feeling myself as much as I do. Not in
Yeah.
a cocky, conceited way, but, like, in a genuine, like, "Wow, I love myself. I've really put in a lot of work, and, like, I'm a good person, and I am lovable, I'm desirable, and I am worthy." And at the end of the day, like, you're in charge of your own happiness, so it's like, you gotta,
Hmm.
like, wake up and get sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time, and I didn't wanna feel that way about myself.
Yeah. That's so true. So you would say the first song is more like a shadow type of work song, like root chakra type,
Yes.
and the
Oh,
other
yes,
song is more
definitely.
solar plex.
I would I would say, like, the first song is definitely root chakra, heart chakra, definitely activation. The
Hmm.
second one, I would definitely say solar plexus chakra, and then maybe a little bit of sacral chakra energy in there,
And
but
heart, I
just a
guess
little
too, because
bit.
it's self
Yeah,
love. Yeah.
mhm,
Okay.
most definitely.
So, all right. I think I got because you answered my last question. I always like to leave people with was what makes you mystical, or what your take or definition of what that would mean. But I guess we'll leave just to
Well, I
ask
didn't
as long as.
answer
Hmm,
I was gonna say I didn't answer what my definition of it was. I
okay.
answered what makes me mystical, but I guess I didn't answer that part of the question. I think that, like, just to quickly put that in there, what makes somebody mystical is truly connecting with yourself, but that can come in a myriad of different ways.
Hmm.
Whether it's you connecting with your family lineage and learning literally about where your people come from, and you actually study the stuff in which your people, come from, whether that's, just finding spirituality at a certain point in your life and it, being like a save or excuse me, like kind of being what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of being like redemption to it like a degree.
Hmm.
I feel like whether it's religion or spirituality, people find Jesus and stuff all the time. I feel like whatever makes you find hope again in life and brings you like a
Hmm.
sense of clarity and peace, that makes you mystical. I think listening to your intuition makes you mystical. I think that if you're a woman especially, listening to women's intuition, picking up things, and even if you run across women that aren't girls, you're
Hmm.
still, you know what I mean, in alignment with helping and being supportive of other women no matter what, because you would want that energy back. I think also something that makes you mystical beyond just like physical things is truly, like I said, being in tune with yourself, is like understanding the messages that are given to you and also having patience and understanding that like you're not going to be right 100% of the time.
Hmm.
um Sometimes you might misread things or you might get adjacent readings, which like you're on the right path, it was close but you weren't quite there. But
Hmm.
I think that it's a journey throughout life and you continue to develop different gifts along the way, and I think that what makes you mystical is you using those gifts to not only better your life but those that are around you.
Well said. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that for sure. Like the number one key to magic and mysticism is you being you. And then, as you grow, you learn different layers about yourself and things like that. But I appreciate you, sis, for coming on. Like I know you said you're on all platforms musically. I will link your information in the description. You guys can keep up with Brianna and what she's doing. And yes,
Thank
I appreciate
you.
my sis for coming on. And yeah, y'all show some
Um,
love. I love bringing people
thank
on that I
you.
feel inspired by. You're welcome. I feel inspired by my friends, people that I come across. And, if I feel guided to reach out to you, it's because I feel like you are somebody that I want people to know about and embrace, you know? So much love, y'all. I appreciate everyone. Whenever you do come on, if you came on, thank you so much for the love.
Thank you
And I'll
guys
see
so
you next
much.
week.
I also would just want to say I love you too, and I appreciate you, and thank you for your time. And also thank you for everyone's time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay blessed.
Yes, everybody stay safe out there. Yes, and I love you too, sis. Be safe. And I'll catch up with you. I don't know if we're gonna be
Bye.
free after this, but I'll catch you when you're free. All right.
I got you. Tap
All
in with
right.
me. Bye, love.